So assuming our partner is on their knees facing us and we're kind of in a seated butterfly guard, I don't know what angle is good for you guys to see, but so arm drag, right? Basically, it's lever control at the end of the lever and at the elbow. So you'll see it all the time where guys go like, ha, right? But there's ways to better use our leverage, or better use our levers and our strengths. So traditionally, you'll see guys just grab this and go like this. The problem with any kind of arm drag mechanic like this is he can kind of re-drag me and we're like, who's gonna win, right? So the first thing you wanna do for a proper arm drag is make use of your frames and levers. Grab at the meatiness of the thumb. You can grab at the sleeve if it's a gi, but you can grab, they'll still have a meaty part of their thumb even if they're wearing a gi, so this is better, right? So instead of reaching to grab this, right, and exposing myself, what you should do first is punch that using a frame to their hip. So that kind of opens that up, then you can reach, because at this point, he can no longer drag me, right? So we have 1, right, 2. The third movement is to get our leg out and wing it to the side. And it depends on how big they are. For me and Corey, we're around the same size and weight. When I wing out, come up, I'll probably move both of us. If it's someone heavier like Owen or Gilbert, it's gonna be, my weight will maybe just keep you there and I'm gonna move myself around you. Not right or wrong, just the way it goes, right? So again, partners on our knees, grabbing here, punching to the hip, here, and we're just, yeah, you can see he's kind of coming, but we're kind of winging and going like this, right? So that's kind of the first movement of the position, right? So let's hold this way a bit. So once, again, this kind of grip, so punch, 2, relax. And then we're gonna go here like this, right? So once you're here, this kind of grip, you're gonna switch it. So it's kind of like this, a pulling grip, right? So from here, comes like this, you're still holding this, right? At this point, his knee is gonna be kind of trapped behind my hamstring here, right? And my knee is behind his butt, right? So he can't sit back because my knee's there, right? So that first position brings us here. The second position is basically I'm going to drop and knee him and pull. So I'm gonna knee him with this knee. I'm gonna extend with this leg down to push here, and then I'm gonna pull like this, right? And I ideally wanna have my chest over his elbow and his shoulder here so he can't come, right? The third and the last thing we're gonna do, you can do stuff like this and pull him down. It's not wrong, people do it all the time. But a more effective way would be to access better lever mechanics. So if I was gonna do it this way, I'd probably go here, I'd step over, and I'd ratchet his knee to drop. But that's not bad, it's fine. But assuming I still have this, a better way to do it is actually to take your inside leg here, this one, thread like this, and extend and pull while sitting out and still pulling with this. So what I'm doing is, that's a much stronger mechanic, and you can see my bottom arm here sits right in. And then I can do all that good stuff, right? So not wrong, either way. It's just a little bit better, and I don't have to release any grips to switch around, right? So let's face this way so you can see the right angle of it for the camera. So again, you're seated here like this, grab over the thumb, just push it into the hip, right? So this immediately neutralizes the re-drag, right? This is the easiest way. You could do this if you want to, but maybe they could circle out or something. So 1, 2, and then you're gonna swing around, right? And again, maybe I'll borrow Owen for this because he's actually a little bit heavier than me. Just a little bit, right? So Corey, when I start moving, he'll feel it. But with Owen, because he's heavier, he's got a good base, if I push here and I grab here, right? And I wing, like you see how I'm moving? And he kind of moves a little bit, but not too much, right? So again, once we're here, this bottom of my hamstring blocks this knee. This knee's kind of in the butt right here. And I'm just gonna kind of knee him in the butt while extending this down while pulling this, right? So I'm in a good spot. So most people, they'll have their arm and they'll post it out. If they don't, like Owen did there, they'll just eat floor, which is fine too. Like that's an even better position. So yeah, go back for a sec. So assuming we're here, knee in the butt, right? And then the last thing we're gonna do is I like to use this leg in here to thread. And as I continue to, I would have this. So pull, and then I'm just gonna extend out and rotate, and it collapses them down, right? You can do the hip if you want to, it's not wrong. The other pull is a little easier. And I'm using my whole kind of hip out to drag them over.
While you're locked in, right?
Yeah, yeah. So again, it's 3 parts, right? You're doing this and you're doing that wing out to the side. Once you're here, you're doing that extending with your leg while kneeing him, so it's like a kind of scissor, and you're dragging him. So then you knock him over. Then you would thread the leg while you still have this, and the leg extension looks like you're kind of hipping out and sitting. And you guys both felt it. It's a strong drag, right? I'll show you the other one with the hip. It's not wrong. It's still good. But again, we're here. Right? I'm gonna wing out, right? So I'm gonna knee him here, get him down. So if I were to do this with the hip, I would probably just reach over with this leg and crank here, and it's still good. But you can feel it's not quite as terrible. Yeah. It doesn't feel as bad, right? So especially if you're doing it with someone who's bigger, stronger, or longer than you, I prefer the leg and thread.